Hey, Nithin, thanks so much for making time today.
Thank you, David. Thanks for inviting me.
Cool. I want to start with the present and then I'll go back in time. So tell me a little bit about what you're currently doing these days.
Sure. So I work as a product owner at a company called NextLogic. We have an accreditation management software solution, and I like to see as my work helping the world out there be a little more safer for everyone. That's the big perspective goal of what we're going for. So we mainly work with accrediting bodies in the healthcare industry and help them build enterprise software to manage their process from A to Z, including application acceptance from hospitals or labs, scheduling, auditing, and maintaining all those records. So that's what I do currently.
Oh, cool. So when you were in high school and you were thinking about a career and all that, you said product ownership. That's where I want to be. Is that right?
Exactly. Ever since I was like 3, I always wanted to be a product. No. High school, probably I was just focused on grades, which is not the best thing to do if I were to redo that part of my life. But
What
yeah,
would you
but at
focus on?
some
Let's
point in
take a
my
pause there,
journey,
right?
yeah,
Let me take a
sure.
pause. So what would
Yeah.
you, if you would go back to high school
Yeah.
and not focus on grades, what would you focus on differently?
I mean, overall development, right? I mean, I did take part in extracurricular activities and sports and all that, but I would want to do more of that. And, you know, rather than just grades, I would have gone back and made more meaningful connections. Not that I haven't, but I would have done more of that.
A little bit more. But
Yeah,
the grades helped you get where you are now.
it did. And doesn't mean the system is right too. But it did help me a lot. Yeah.
So high school time frame, you went to college, you studied mechanical engineering,
That is correct. Yep.
right? What was it
Spent
about
about,
mechanical engineering that was so interesting to you?
I think about cars in general. I think I wanted to be part of the automotive industry in some way or the other. It fascinated me at that point of time. The design of it, the progress the industry was making at that point of time. It was slowly switching to more electronics than just
They were going
mechanical
from horse and
parts.
buggy to gasoline. Is that what you're saying?
No, they were in they were in gasoline and still stays in gasoline for a long time. But there was a slight switch towards innovation, which I thought was really cool. So that's mainly why I wanted to. And that point of time, it's just had to do something. So let's do this.
Nice. So you studied mechanical engineering undergrad, and then
Yes.
what'd you do right after you graduated?
After I graduated, I joined this company called Tata Motors, and I was working on their Jaguar and Land Rover division. So I was my title was design engineer, but I would call myself more of a quality person because we kind of made sure all the designs were accurate. Were there any structural improvements that could be made, or there were some overlapping issues in the existing design. So when they build a car, it's a major effort. Like it takes about 3 to 4 years to design a car completely from scratch. So I was part of the quality management aspect of it, and I spent about 2 years there.
That must have been sort of a dream job for you then, right out of college, to go into automotive, right?
Yes.
That how it progressed, or did you suddenly say, "Hey, wasn't really interesting"? What was your mindset as you were progressing through that career?
Sure. Remember when I told you in high school, like I wished I spent more time in extracurricular? That is what I did in college, in my undergrad. So I wouldn't call myself an excellent mechanical engineer. I was good, but I wasn't that good, um, and soon after taking up that job after 2 years, and I enjoyed the initial part of it, and I was like, I want to do something different. I want to do something more than just be a part of the development of a car towards the later stage of development. And I feel like it wasn't that great at that point. I want to do something more. So after that, I decided, masters would make more sense. And somewhere along the journey, the idea of entrepreneurship kind of entered my head, and I wanted to explore that more.
So, and as I know of you, you went to Carnegie Mellon. What was the decision between Carnegie and other schools?
There was no decision. I mean, I got the course and the college, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want, because the engineering technology innovation management course had a good mix of product management and They also worked with early stages companies, and they talked a lot about entrepreneurship and all that. So it kind of intrigued me. I wanted to do that course. And the main attraction for product management for me is, it closely resembles how a CEO might think of an organization. So it's, for me, it's like a learning process of how a CEO would think of a company if it comes down to that. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. All right. So you went to the program, graduated, and then, you said, hey, it's time to jump into something a little bit more entrepreneurial, something that you can own.
Um, Kind of, yes. So I started working with startup companies initially.
Mhm.
Treble is one of them, and I had, I think, a fantastic boss during the time I worked at Treble.
Oh, who'd you work for?
Uh,
So, no,
uh, a
don't
great
answer.
guy. Of
We
course, I worked for
fired
him.
him years ago.
But I think I learned a lot in my experience working in Treble. I also worked for a company called Robotics, and in both these scenarios, it was just early stage products, and it was really exciting to work and kind of figure out the product market fit. Um, you know what Treble is, but for Robotics, it's more of an IoT device, and they were trying to explore what they could do with this technology of controlling robots remotely from anywhere in the globe. To give you an example, one of the things that I and the CEO of the company kind of worked with and wanted to figure out was advertising. Like, how could we use advertising, uh, this technology to enhance advertising? And one approach we came up was to work with Stanley Black and Decker. They had these new drills or any equipment that they wanted their customers to test or wanted to explore. It could give them remote access to equipment set up somewhere to operate that and see that. And that was an interesting application we are exploring. And I had a lot of fun working with really early stage ideas like that.
What you left there and then moved on to NextLogic, or was there something in between?
Yes.
Okay.
So I worked for Robotics and Treble kind of at the same time. And then after that, left that to join NextLogic. The opportunity actually came through Treble for me. It was a connection of a connection who put me in touch with Kurt Kausel, who was the CEO of NextLogic at that point of time. Um, Got an interview. They liked me. I liked the office. I liked the product. And then things just kicked off from there.
All right. So, and what aspects of your current position do you love most?
Um, One, the growth I've had in this company has been tremendous. I really enjoyed that part. Um, I would like to say it's all because of my hard work, but no, there's a lot of other players there. And I got lucky in this position. So I joined by just managing one of the customers, and now I've grown to, I would say, managing almost 65% of the company's revenue and things like that. So when I say managing, I mean the product part of it. I make decisions that influence that amount of revenue for the company. Um, I could grow to manage a team. I enjoy that part, working with the team to figure out all these requirements, how to grow the product and all that. And with NextLogic, what I like the most is that it is not really a startup, but still the company is open to explore new ideas and still trying to figure out a product market fit or where we fit exactly, where we can be of most value. So that conversation is still ongoing in NextLogic, and I feel like it's a really exciting space to be. It could lead to anything, and I can contribute a lot to that decision.
Right. And then projecting yourself out into the future, let's say 10 years or so, or 20 years from now, right? Or when you're old like me, what do you think you'll be most proud of later in your career as you look back?
So far, I've come here. That's a tricky question. I thought you were going for what you would be or what you see yourself in 10 years, but looking back at it, is that I think I'll be proud of not giving up. There's been a lot of ups and downs in this journey.
Mhm.
A lot of times where it felt kind of hopeless. A lot of risky decisions and investments that I've made. But I'm proud to say I've made that in myself, and I think I've been able to come so far because somewhere I trusted in myself, even though got beaten up multiple times. I somehow got up again, thanks to not just my hard work or things like that, but thanks to a lot of people who've been around me. my wife, my parents, and David, honestly, even you, you've been a helping hand many times in my journey, which, I appreciate.
Too kind, too kind. What advice would you have for other people who are in career transitions? They're trying to, it sounds like you have, to a large extent, figured out what you really enjoy and you're pursuing that actively. What advice do you have for people that are struggling, that are saying, I'm not really happy with what I'm currently doing? What has been your insight in yourself?
Sure. One, it's never going to be not scary to make a career switch. I mean, if you're thinking about a career switch in one way or the other, you're comfortable at where you are. And that doesn't make you happy. And I totally understand that. And I've felt that many times as well. So at some point, you just have to make a decision whether you want to be just making some money or you want to be more happy doing what you want. And I think over the long run, you would want to be making money doing the things that make you happy. So yeah, it's never going to be not scary. It is going to be scary, but you just have to take the leap of faith and see how it goes. Sometimes it may go south, and that does happen, but you need to have the self-confidence, I guess, to be able to make it back up.
And then, since you raised it, I'll conclude with this: where do you see yourself in the 10 or 20 years?
I don't know. I think that's going to be the beauty of it. I don't believe in planning everything out. I want to. I use an agile methodology of software development. I take a lean approach to developing my products. And I would like to take a similar approach in my life as well, to be able to observe and pivot as necessary.
So you see your career as one sprint after the next.
In some ways, yes, but the general goal, yeah, like a product, we do still need to have a vision, and that doesn't change much, even though how we get there changes. The vision is still, I really want to be a creator of something. Like I want to create something from scratch. I want to own a business from scratch and contribute in a more meaningful way to the world.
Awesome. Nithin, I wish you continued success on your amazing journey. It's been a great honor and pleasure for me to get to interact with you and know you over the last few years. Thank you so much for making time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, David. It's been a pleasure.